The Oklahoma City Thunder are not usually known as a team that will go and shop a big name free agent in the offseason. However, this year it could be different as there are some big names headlining this free agency class, and there's one that they could get at the power forward position that could make them a contender for years to come. What up, is Bryson Akins with another Thunder Digest video for you guys today. Before we get all this though, I want to take a moment, recognize at the time of recording this video, we're at 958 subs. Still trying to reach that 1,000 subscriber goal. So like I've mentioned before, if you guys enjoy the content and you find yourself coming back on a regular basis, go ahead, hit the subscribe button. It's the best way to support the channel. With that out of the way, we can get into what I'm talking about here. And you guys probably saw it from the thumbnail already. You guys have probably seen his name brought up in free agency talks with a bunch of teams potentially trying to pursue him, especially if Indiana trying to keep him because he did have a good season when he was traded to them before the deadline. I'm talking about Pascal Siakam, who could definitely be a guy that could change the scheme and how far we go in the playoffs because he adds size, he adds defense, he adds rebounding, he's a reliable scorer. But the question is, how likely is this to happen? Well, there was an article published by Clutch Points the other day that kind of sums it up how likely it is. Here's what they had to say. The Thunder haven't gone star hunting in recent off seasons, but if they do so this year, Pascal Siakam is a name that makes sense. I'll preface this by saying that it is unlikely Siakam joins the Thunder, but he will be one of the best players on the open market, and he makes sense from a fit perspective. So, like was mentioned here in the article, it's not likely that it could happen. However, he's saying there's a chance because of how he fits in there. And you also got to keep in mind, we have $33 million available to kind of use in cap space here to go get someone. But I'll go in and read what else was said in the article. After trading for the star power forward at the NBA trade deadline, the Pacers are going to do whatever it takes to retain the two-time All-Star Indiana's postseason success. They are currently in Eastern Conference Finals. As we know, they've been eliminated now. This was written about 3-4 days ago, I believe, not too long ago. Also means Siakam will likely want to return to Indiana anyways. Still, this is the NBA and you never know what could happen, especially considering Siakam is an unrestricted free agent. Siakam would improve a lot of Oklahoma City's biggest needs. His presence would allow Jalen Williams to move down to his more natural small forward position, and Josh Giddey, if he remains with the team, could move to a bench role where his lack of shooting would be less of an issue. Going what else they had to say here, Siakam would also give more size to Oklahoma City's front court alongside Chet Holmgren. The Thunder are one of the worst rebounding teams in the NBA. And although Holmgren's skinny frame wasn't as big of an issue as some thought it would be, it would still be nice to get a little more bulk in the front court. Siakam could help with rebounding duties and the interior defense when need be. Siakam was available via trade before the trade deadline, and despite having the trade assets to get a deal done, the Thunder decided not to pursue the former Toronto Raptor. That means Oklahoma City is probably an unlikely home for Siakam. The fit makes sense if these two sides do decide to get involved in contract negotiations, though. So as you can see there, I'm sure a lot of people remember how we were potentially trying to trade for Lauri Markkanen or Pascal Siakam at the trade line last season, and unfortunately it never happened with either of the players. However, I think in free agency this year, if for some reason we try not to pursue Lauri Markkanen at all in a trade, and we're trying to add this kind of star power and big name guy to our lineup that could take over these starting duty roles without losing any of our core players, Pascal Siakam could definitely be the guy I see us going out there and could be the only move that we make in the offseason. Like I've said, like it mentioned in the article and like I kind of think, it makes sense. From the perspective, it makes sense. And so his stats add up when you look at his regular season stats: 21.7 points per game, 7 rebounds, 4.3 assists, 4.3 assists, and 53 field goal percent. So as you can see there, not a bad player at all. And he's reaching the prime of his career right now. 30 years old, he's right there. We want to get him before he starts regressing a little bit, so it makes sense to go after him. So, and you also got to look at his postseason stats. Sorry, I was coughing there. I didn't want you guys to hear that. Look at what he did in the postseason here. In the postseason with the Pacers, in 17 games played, he started all 7, averaging 35 minutes a game with 21 points, shooting over 50% from the field. So that's impressive. That's efficient right there. And we know we love our efficient shooters. The downside is it doesn't really shoot the three ball all that great, just under 30%, which kind of sucks because when you look at how we played this year, we like to space out the floor. We spaced it out a ton with all our guys. We had a stretch five and Chet playing the floor there, and you can tell we weren't really worried about the post game unless we were driving in for a tough finish or to draw a foul. His free throw percentage could be better. Definitely could be better. That's a worrying stat right there, considering how often we like to get to the line. But in the postseason, 7 rebounds a game, just under 4 assists, almost a steal, and not even half a block a game. You would like a guy with his size and his frame to kind of block a little bit more, be a little bit more of a rim protector. But he stays out of foul trouble, and he's not turning the ball over all that much. 1 turnover a game in the postseason. Those are good numbers. It just comes down to if it is a fit for us, and I think it is. And then with that out of the way, then it comes down to, okay, how likely is this deal to get done? I say it's a 30-70 chance it works out. 30% that he signs with the team, 70% that we just don't pursue him at all, or it just doesn't work out. So I'd like that's where I'm at right now. 30% chance it could happen. And I can even lie. Adding Siakam to the team, that'd be a great addition. He's a great player. Like I've mentioned, we're going to get what we would probably do would be a 3-year deal. That way on that last year, if we notice regression when he's starting to fall out of his prime a little bit, we can trade him for another piece and get that contract out of the way and try to bring in a younger guy, someone that could help us out in general. Because with that big name, even if he is regressing at that point in his career, you could go get 2 decent guys to add to your bench for depth, especially come playoff time. Because by that time, Aaron Wiggins or Isaiah Joe might no longer they might no longer be on the team when you look at it. It's far ways down, and if they keep progressing at how they have been, we could end up losing them. That's simple. So I think for the future and right now, I think it would work. However, would I prefer to still go after a guy like Claxton or Hartenstein? That way we have cap space available to add into our bench depth? Yes, 100%. I believe that should be the move. Trade for Lauri Markkanen. I think that's what we should prioritize right now. Trade for Lauri Markkanen. Get something done there. And then sign a bench guy, bench big to our team. That way we have the size, because that was the downside the entire season and the playoffs. We didn't have size. We couldn't rebound. Interior defense wasn't all that great. That was the problem. That's what we ran across the entire time. So I feel like Pascal Siakam would be great. But that would have to be our only move of the offseason because it would take up our entirety of the cap space. So trade for a guy and then sign a backup big or even a starting big if you have to. If you have to go get Claxton and trade for bench depth, that's fine. However, it's just Siakam's kind of this pipe dream that we have. That's all I've got, though, for that. Let me know, guys, what you guys personally think about Siakam, if he would fit into the team or not, and let me know if there's someone else in free agency that you guys think would be a better fit. I've seen Klay Thompson. Guys, I don't think he would fit. I can make a video talking about that if you guys want, talking about how he wouldn't fit into the team. And then also we have draft prospects. We still have this 12th pick right now, in the foreseeable future. So I could also talk about some guys like De Silva and a bunch of other guys in this year's draft. Zach Giddey, I can talk about him for a little bit, even though I don't think we should draft him with the 12th overall pick. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. So let me know in the comment section what you guys think the Thunder should do in the offseason. Then also, before we're done here, just a reminder, 958 subs, trying to reach 1,000. If you find yourself coming back and you enjoyed this kind of content, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.